The inheritance belongs to Marcus now, my mother said, not even looking me in the eye as she signed the papers transferring my $2 million inheritance to my stepbrother. He needs it more than you do, Emma. You already have a successful career. I stood in my parents' study, watching as 20 years of my grandmother's careful planning was dismantled in minutes. Marcus, my stepbrother of 5 years, sat smugly in the corner, already scrolling through luxury car websites on his phone. Don't you have anything to say? My father asked, his tone suggesting I should be grateful for this decision. I adjusted my glasses calmly. No, I think you've made your position clear. My name is Emma Sullivan. I'm 32, and I just watched my parents give away my inheritance to my stepbrother, a man who has never worked a day in his life. But what they didn't know was that I had received a mysterious letter from my grandmother's lawyer 3 days ago. Emma, try to understand, my mother pleaded, her perfectly manicured hands clasping together. Marcus hasn't had the same advantages you've had. He needs this fresh start. Fresh start, that's what they called it. Like his 3 failed business ventures and mounting gambling debts were just unfortunate accidents. Like my years of hard work building my environmental consulting firm meant I didn't deserve what my grandmother had explicitly left for me. We're still family, Marcus said, finally looking up from his phone. I'll make sure to get you something nice for Christmas. His smile didn't reach his eyes. I left without another word, driving straight to Mr. Harrison's office. He was my grandmother's lawyer and had been handling her estate since her passing 3 months ago. The letter he'd sent me had been cryptic but clear. Don't react when they do this. Come see me after. The old law office smelled of leather and paper, unchanged since my childhood visits with Grandma. Mr. Harrison stood as I entered, his kind eyes crinkling behind wire-rimmed glasses. They did it, didn't they? He asked, though he already knew the answer. I nodded, taking the seat across from his desk. Just like you said they would. How did you know? He opened his desk drawer, pulling out a thick envelope. Your grandmother knew. She saw this coming years ago, even before your father married Marcus's mother. She knew they would try to redistribute her legacy. But why let them? Why not prevent it? Mr. Harrison smiled, sliding the envelope across the desk. Because Victoria Sullivan was playing a longer game. She wanted to see who would show their true colors. Open it. Inside was a letter in my grandmother's elegant handwriting. My dearest Emma, if you're reading this, then everything has happened exactly as I feared. Your parents, in their misguided attempt to be fair, have given your inheritance to Marcus. They think they're helping him, but they're enabling his worst instincts. But what they don't know, what I never told anyone, is about the safe in my summer house. The combination is your birthday. Not the one everyone knows, but your actual birthday, the one only you and I celebrated at midnight each year. What's inside is worth far more than money. It's our family's true legacy, one that can only be appreciated by someone who understands the value of hard work and patience. Don't tell them about this letter. Go to the house this weekend. You'll understand everything when you see it. All my love, Grandma. I looked up at Mr. Harrison, questions swirling in my mind. The summer house, I thought that was being sold. The sale doesn't close for another week, he replied. You have time. That evening I sat in my apartment staring at the letter. The summer house had been my sanctuary growing up. While my parents chased social status in the city, Grandma and I spent summers there, tending to her gardens, watching sunsets from the wraparound porch, and sharing secrets over hot chocolate at midnight on my birthday. My phone buzzed repeatedly. Messages from Marcus showing off the sports car he'd already ordered with my inheritance. My parents sent texts too, full of justifications and expectations of gratitude for their fair decision. I ignored them all, focusing instead on planning my weekend trip to the summer house. Whatever was in that safe, my grandmother had wanted me to find it first. Friday evening, I made the 3-hour drive to the coast. The summer house stood proud against the darkening sky, its Victorian architecture a testament to older, more graceful times. Using the key Mr. Harrison had given me, I stepped into the familiar entryway. Everything was exactly as Grandma had left it. The antique furniture draped in white sheets, her collection of botanical prints lining the hallway, even her gardening hat still hanging by the door. I knew exactly where the safe was, hidden behind a false panel in her study. We'd used it to store special treasures when I was young, but I'd never known the real combination. Everyone thought my birthday was September 15th, but I was actually born just after midnight on the 16th. Grandma and I had always celebrated twice, keeping the true date our special secret. With trembling fingers, I entered 0916. The safe clicked open. Inside was another letter, a large manila envelope, and a small wooden box I recognized from my childhood. But before I could examine them, I heard a car in the driveway. Headlights swept across the study windows. My parents' voices carried from outside, followed by Marcus's distinctive laugh. The realtor said Emma took a key. My mother's voice drifted in. She must be here somewhere. We need to make sure she doesn't do anything foolish before the sale. I quickly gathered everything from the safe, my heart pounding. There would be time to examine it all later. Right now, I needed to leave without them seeing me. I slipped out through the back door just as they entered through the front. Driving home in the dark, the safe's contents secure beside me, I couldn't help but smile. My grandmother had known this would happen. She'd prepared for it. And now whatever she'd left in that safe was exactly where she'd wanted it. The real question was, what had she left that was worth more than $2 million? Back in my apartment, I spread the contents of the safe across my dining room table. My hands trembled as I opened the wooden box first. It was the one Grandma used to store her most precious items. Inside, I found old photographs, documentation, and a USB drive that looked relatively new. The first photograph showed a much younger version of my grandmother, standing in front of a massive greenhouse complex. She was wearing a lab coat, holding what looked like a rare plant specimen. The back of the photo read, Sullivan Botanical Research Center, 1975. I'd never known about this. In all our conversations, Grandma had never mentioned owning a research center. The manila envelope contained property deeds, patents, and scientific research papers. As I read through them, my environmental scientist's heart nearly stopped. My grandmother hadn't just owned a research center. She had developed a breakthrough in sustainable agriculture. The patents were for a unique method of growing drought-resistant crops, something that could revolutionize farming in arid regions. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Marcus. Hey sis, just bought my second car. Thanks for being so understanding about the inheritance. Mom and Dad are right. You don't need it. I smiled, turning back to the documents. The research center had been kept under a separate company name, one that even my parents didn't know about. According to the papers, it was still operational, run by a board of trusted scientists, generating millions in research grants and patent royalties each year. And now, according to the documentation, it all belonged to me. The final letter from Grandma explained everything. Emma, my brilliant girl, money can be squandered, but knowledge and innovation are priceless. While everyone focused on my visible assets, my real legacy was growing in those greenhouses. Your environmental science degree wasn't a coincidence. I've watched you follow in my footsteps without even knowing it. The research center needs a new director, someone with both the scientific knowledge and the passion for sustainable solutions. The board has been waiting for you. Now you understand why I let them take the money. Marcus will waste it. Your parents will learn a hard lesson. But you will build something lasting. Go to the research center. Dr. Sarah Thompson is expecting you. Show her this letter. Make me proud, though you already have. Love, Grandma. I plugged in the USB drive. It contained years of research data, proposals for new projects, and a video message from my grandmother, recorded shortly before her death. In it, she detailed her vision for the future of the research center, and her confidence in my ability to lead it. Another text buzzed through my mother this time. Emma, why were you at the summer house? Marcus is interested in buying it before the sale. You need to stop being difficult about all this. I put my phone on silent and booked a flight to the research center for the next morning. My grandmother had given me something far more valuable than money. She'd given me a purpose. The Sullivan Botanical Research Center was even more impressive in person. Located on 50 acres of pristine land, its modern glass buildings gleamed in the morning sun. Dr. Sarah Thompson met me at the entrance, her eyes lighting up when she saw me. You look just like Victoria, she said, pulling out her key card. She told us you'd come eventually. Though I must admit, we were getting a bit anxious these past months. Inside, the facility was a marvel of modern science. Specialized growing rooms housed experimental crops, Laboratories hummed with activity, and researchers moved purposefully between stations. This wasn't just a research center, it was a vision of the future. Your grandmother's work on drought-resistant crops has already helped thousands of farmers in developing countries, Dr. Thompson explained as we toured the facility. But her latest project, the one she was working on before she passed, that could change everything. She led me to a secure laboratory, where several scientists were studying plants I'd never seen before. These specimens, she continued, can grow in almost desert-like conditions, while producing 4 times the normal yield. We're just waiting for the final patent approval. My phone buzzed again. My father this time. Emma, this tantrum needs to stop. Marcus is offering to let you stay at the summer house, sometimes if you stop being difficult about the inheritance. I showed Dr. Thompson my grandmother's letter. She smiled, pulling out a folder she'd clearly been keeping ready. The board unanimously voted last year to appoint you as director, on Victoria's recommendation. We just needed you to find the safe first. She was very specific about that part. Just then, my parents and Marcus burst into the lobby. They must have followed me here. Emma, my mother called out, her voice echoing through the atrium. What are you doing at this place? I walked calmly to meet them, Dr. Thompson beside me. This place is the Sullivan Botanical Research Center, I said, watching their confused faces. Grandma's real legacy. While you were all focused on her money, she was here, developing solutions that could help millions. Marcus snorted. Some boring plants. I've already spent half the inheritance on cars you don't need and investments that will fail. I interrupted. Just like Grandma knew you would. That's why she made sure her real legacy went to someone who would understand its value. Dr. Thompson handed me the director's badge. Miss Sullivan, shall we show your family the projected revenue from last year's patents? My parents' faces paled as Dr. Thompson pulled up the center's financial records. The inheritance they'd given away to Marcus was a fraction of what the research center generated annually. But we're family, Marcus sputtered. You have to share this too. I thought about all the times they'd dismissed my work, my passions, my dedication, how they'd given away my inheritance without a second thought. You're right, Marcus. We are family, so you're welcome to visit any time. But this, I gestured to the research center. This belongs to someone who will actually use it to make a difference. 6 months later, I stood in my grandmother's old office, now mine, looking out over the expanded greenhouse complex. The drought-resistant crop patents had been approved, and implementation projects were starting in 3 countries. Marcus had predictably blown through the inheritance. My parents' attempts to manage the research center had been politely but firmly rejected by the board. They'd finally had to face the consequences of their choices. But this story isn't about revenge. It's about legacy. Not the kind you can spend, but the kind you build. My grandmother had known that all along. On my desk sat the wooden box from the safe, now holding my own research notes alongside her old photographs. And next to it, a small plaque read, Sullivan Botanical Research Center, continuing Victoria's vision. Every night when I leave the office, I pass her portrait in the lobby. She's standing in front of these same greenhouses, a knowing smile on her face. And I swear that smile grows a little bigger each time we announce a new breakthrough. Sometimes the best inheritance isn't money at all. Sometimes it's purpose, vision, and the chance to make a real difference. My grandmother gave me all 3, and that's worth more than any amount of money Marcus could have spent. Dr. Thompson knocked on my door, breaking my reflection. The representatives from the World Agricultural Organization are here. They're very interested in implementing your new irrigation system. I smiled, picking up my presentation folder. Let's show them what the Sullivan women can do. As I walked to the meeting room, my phone buzzed one last time. A message from Marcus. Hey sis, about that inheritance thing. I deleted it without reading further. I had more important things to focus on. After all, I had a legacy to build. The end.